video, which I'm on day 25 of the Peloton bike.
Hi guys, it's Fana and thank you so much for watching. Today I am doing a character from The Umbrella Academy, which is a graphic novel turned Netflix show, and season 2 is out today. So The Umbrella Academy is about an adopted family of child superheroes who are now in their 30s and are estranged from one another and their father, but said father has conveniently died and they must come together to save the world. But we're not talking about the rest of the Umbrella Academy. We're talking about this jerk right here. That's right, Klaus Hargreeves. I'll talk about Klaus later in this video, but I love him very, very much. And I will say, this is the third boy doll that I have ever made, so I really want to do him justice. Let's get started. Hi guys, this is Editor Fana popping in to say, 1, please no spoilers for Season 2 for sure, but also try to keep Season 1 spoilers down to a minimum. I purposely did not even watch the Season 2 trailer because I want to go in completely blind, so please be nice to both me and other people reading the comments. Update number 2. I have looked at my analytics and 80% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed. So please think about liking and subscribing to my channel. Put the bell notification on so that you get all of my content. And what's the third thing? There were 3 things. Oh, most important part. This doll is for sale. Klaus is for sale. I wanted to put that out there. Okay, time to actually start the video. See you soon. I used a Deuce Gorgon Monster High doll from my precious stash of boy dolls, and I took off the factory paint with 100% acetone nail polish remover, as well as pry off his little snake headpiece thing. After sanding and priming the body with Mr. Super Clear, I decided to do blushing and add in his tattoos. Now I'm doing Klaus from the beginning of the show, the first 1 or 2 episodes. So he has a lot of tattoos by the end, but starting out, his most notable ones are his hand tattoos, which are hello and goodbye, as well as the Umbrella Academy symbol that is tattooed on his left arm. The hello goodbye is speculated to be a homage to his power and a Ouija board, which traditionally they just have the goodbye, but I've also seen them with both greetings. I'll talk about Klaus's powers later on in the face-up. I also decided to paint his fingers and toes. You'll learn pretty early on in watching the show that Klaus does not conform to gender stereotypes in fashion, as he steals his sister's skirt at one point, and I might have made this up, but I think he had black nail polish on, and if he didn't, he does now, and I think it fits him perfectly. And I even added some Holo Taco Aurora unicorn skin top coat because he needed some extra bling. You guys know the drill by now with face-ups. It's 2 coats of Mr. Super Clear, and then I go in with my pastels to do some shadows, micro glitter for some highlights, watercolor pencils, and acrylic paint. I will say that I really did try to do a lot more detail in this doll's face up for more of a semi-realistic. It's not as cartoony as some of my other face ups, but I'm breezing through the how-to process because I really want to talk about Klaus as a character. So I am a sucker for those type of characters that are very bubbly and goofy and borderline insane, but are that way to hide trauma or to hide this deep, dark sense of themselves. And I will say all of the Hargreeves children have dealt with severe trauma both in their childhood as well as present time, but Klaus just resonates with me more. So, they're a family of superheroes. What is his power? His power is that he's able to talk to dead people, which obviously ties into the Ouija board. And actually in the graphic novel / comic, he was known as the Seance. In the TV show, they don't go by their comic book names, they go by their numbers. His is number 4. And part of Klaus's trauma is that he sees and hears dead people all around him all the time. Klaus started self-medicating at a very young age to get rid of those demons that he saw, and the show deals with his various addictions. The show doesn't really sugarcoat it at all, and I appreciate that. And he has given in to his addictions in order to try to block out all of the horrific things that he sees every single day. And there's just something so sad about that. And do I condone his actions? Not at all. But it's reasons like this that I think he's such a well-written character, when you might not agree with what they do or their thought process, but you can also understand. And that's one of the reasons why I love him as a character, and him trying to get past his addictions, especially with, I don't think this is a spoiler, but many of the Hargreeves children deal with lost loved ones in this first season, and Klaus is no exception to that. And his powers are severely underdeveloped, we'll say, because he tried to block them out so early on in his life, and I'm very excited to see in season 2 how his powers grow as he's really fighting against his addictions by the end of season 2. And I hope he doesn't relapse. Yeah, I don't want to get too much into it, but I love him as a character. I really do. I guess I can talk about this face up a little bit more. So I did a little bit of extra makeup with him. I really tried to pack on the micro glitter to his cheek highlights and his nose. And I also tried to add a little bit more gloss and sparkles to him because I really wanted that really tired glamour look for him. And I really think I achieved it. His lips give me a hard time, let me tell you, but I think I was eventually able to tone them down. After one last spray of Mr. Super Clear, it was time for gloss to his waterline, the inner corners, and his lips. Like I said before, Klaus has a very eccentric fashion style sense. He kind of wears whatever he wants. So I decided to take his clothes, like a mishmash of his outfits from the first few episodes, because he changes his outfit a lot. I decided to rip apart some pants and a shirt in order to make a mesh tank top for him. He has very interesting leather pants where they are cut on the sides and have a zigzag pattern that keeps them together. So whenever I need a stretchy black fabric, I just use the other side of this. You've seen me use it quite a bit. I had to sew them on him, securing it at the ankle and also at the waist. I tried to make them very low-waisted, just kind of straddling the hip bone, if you will. His clothes have a very homemade feel to them, or thrifted. So even though I did not execute the zigzag anywhere near as well as I would have wanted, I think it really adds to that mishmash, like, not new feeling of his attire. Oh, and if I didn't say it before when I was talking about the nail polish, he's not going to be wearing shoes, because in one of these promotional images, he is not wearing shoes, and I feel like that fits him better. I'm sure he wears shoes throughout the show, but today he is not. His most notable piece of clothing is this coat, which, when I was looking at images of it a little bit more, I realized there was a lot more to it than I thought. It has like this weird patchwork pattern to it. I don't know. It's just, it's so weird. But I drafted a pattern for him, and then I used this faux leather and cut out the pieces. I then decided to mix up some various browns and grays and hand paint the pattern onto the pattern pieces. There wasn't really any rhyme or reason. I tried to do these almost triangle shapes onto the pattern to make it, I don't know, almost like an animal print. I don't know. I think it turned out okay. At some point I decided to add in some black Sharpie to do stitches to really drive into the patchwork feel that I wanted this coat to have. I had a very fleecy black fabric, which I cut strips of to add to his hemline and collar and his sleeves. I also decided I wanted to make it a little bit more thrifted, a little bit more worn. So I ended up scraping off some of the paint. All of my hard work, all of my paint, I decided to scrape off here and there, and it gave it this weathered look, and I liked it. I liked it a lot how it turned out. I have made several umbrellas on this channel. I don't really know why it's happening. And I do want to say, although I have tried to follow Klaus's outfits pretty well up to this point, his umbrella is loosely inspired by the umbrella that he carries at his father's funeral. It's much more fabulous than that one is. Oh well, I think he would prefer my umbrella rather than the one he had at the funeral, but I digress. I ended up having these two different shiny holographic pink paper foil thing. I covered it with the darker of the iridescent holographic, I know there's a difference, I can't think what it is, material. And then I decided to trim it with the thinner, lighter strip of pink. I also went in on the underside and did a patchworky type feeling with the lighter pink, and I really like how it turned out. I had some old electrical wire, don't ask, in white, and I made a handle out of it and hot glued it to the center of the umbrella. I cut small pieces of black electrical wire to have the impression that there were the rods within the umbrella, as if it functions. We all know that this is a non-functioning umbrella, but I glued those into every ridge and painted them white. The very last thing for me to do was to make some necklaces for him. He has several necklaces and I wasn't able to find a very good reference of them, so I decided to make him 2 necklaces with some thin black cord that I had and some pieces of chain and random beads. I forgot one last detail actually. So I had these yarn hair wefts made already from a previous doll. I have no idea what project they were for, but it was the perfect amount to do Klaus's hair. What I ended up doing was, there are many very good tutorials on how to do this, but I went around his hairline. You place the wefts the opposite way and fold them over to have a nice part. Then I start from the bottom of his hairline and work my way up. But what I did, and I've never done this before, to my recollection, is I used oh gosh, what are they called? I think it's an eyebrow razor. As you can see, I have never used one on myself. This is purely for doll purposes. But I razor cut each layer of his hair, and then I worked my way upwards. Eventually, during this process, my power goes out. As you saw at the beginning of this experience. Fortunately, it's not like this thing is that sharp, and it's not like I was being super aggressive in cutting his hair, so I was fine. Nothing went wrong. The next day, when I actually had power, I finished off his hair and ended up styling it with a little bit of hair gel, but I think you can have that same effect with just water. I love yarn wefts, and I haven't used them in a while. And with that, Klaus is all done. I really love how this doll turned out, especially for my third ever boy doll that I've ever made. And I hope that you guys liked him as well. Again, please no spoilers for season 2 or season 1 in the description below. And like I said, he is up for sale. Please check the description for a little bit more details about that, because I would love for him to have a home. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. I hope you have a phenomenal day and keep being extraordinary. Bye!